We see here that God has given Moses a covenant that he had given to the children of Israel, which was merely sacrificial, depend on rituals and all of those things. As a result of that, the children of Israel, they disobeyed. They could not keep the law perfectly, and so God had to make a new covenant, which is now, we're looking at the new covenant prophets, which will be fulfilled in Jesus Christ, where it will be no longer us going through the rituals, but our heart will become circumcised, where we now have the faith in Jesus Christ to live a more perfect life, to live a life that to live a life of dedication to Him and not just depending on rituals all the time. And so it is predicted that this old covenant will change, the old covenant where Israel disobeyed God. And can you imagine? It was predicted because of disobedience. And if we disobeyed God, then definitely there's a consequences. And so because of disobedience, that old covenant could not continue. God had to change that, where his son now become the sacrificial offering for sin. Now, no more turtle doves, no more pigeons, no more any of those sacrifices. But his death and his resurrection now give us free access to the throne of grace, where we are empowered to live and our hearts condemn us. If we do wrong, nobody has to tell us that you did wrong. Your heart itself convicts you. And so that's why the Lord said he will write the words upon our heart. And it is that those words that are written on our heart is going to convict us and let us know we're not in the right. And so the Mosaic law was for a time. It foreshadows what would have come. And definitely it is here. It is here where Jesus Christ's blood is now upon our lives. His blood was shed for our sins. And so through his death and his resurrection, we have the power by faith to overcome sin. All right? Bless the Lord. Any more thoughts on the introduction? If there's no more thoughts, we're going to go to our talk about it. All right? And our first question.
Yes, sister.
Oh.
I think that it's not that God predicted that they have to sin. But God, since he gave us a free will, he knew that we will sin. And I think that the fact that those are covenants announcing, there are prophets announcing a new covenant, it means that God knows how low we can fall. Yet still he has a new plan for recovery, for restoration, for bring us back, to close back the relationship, that gap that was created. So he is planning ahead of us. The devil could say, you see, I told you, they worthless. They sin and sin and sin, and they doom. That's it. That's the end of the human race. But God had a different plan. He knew that the people will sin. He didn't put them to sin, but he knew we'll sin because of that. And then he decided to create a better covenant.
Thank you very much. All right. So the question asks, how does the Mosaic covenant predict its own failure and foresee the new covenant in Deuteronomy 30? What shift is seen? All right. How does the Mosaic covenant predict its own failure? How? Deuteronomy 30. Anybody read Deuteronomy 30? It's a long chapter, but the passage predicts that Moses foretells the future where Israel will disobey God. All right? They will disobey God's command, leading to exiles and hardships. Deuteronomy 31 to 10 says that, however, Moses predicts also a future restoration where God will circumcise the heart of his people, enabling them to love and to obey him fully. All right? So the Mosaic law predicts its own failure in that disobedience, disobedience would come in. Disobedience was the one that led them into hardships and led them into exile where they were in Egypt. But the covenant also made a positive prediction, a prediction of restoration, a prediction of circumcision.